Callahan grew up in Ohio in a family of modest means. He served as a midshipman in the Navy and earned a full-ride scholarship to Marquette University, where he was a starting guard on the football team. In 1950, he graduated with a bachelor's degree in mathematics, and 2 years later earned his master's degree. During this time, he met and married his former wife Sally and parented 8 children. Later, after his divorce, he met and married his present wife Linda, who has 2 grown children. They have been married for 13 years. With their combined children and grandchildren, family gatherings have never been dull and are always an event. For 25 years, Ed was an educator, first as a teacher and athletics coach, and then serving for 5 years as the superintendent of the Catholic schools in Rockford, Illinois. Even though Ed was not formally organizing co-ops during this time, he was still using cooperative principles to pull people together for a common good. For example, he chartered and started a boosters club at Boylan High School in Rockford. Through Ed's leadership and guidance, this group developed a very successful program of cooperative fundraising. They raised enough to build the largest stadium in Rockford, build a baseball diamond, a gym for girls' athletics, and an indoor tennis club. He also established an endowment fund that reduced costs of tuition, allowing more students to participate. In 1975, Ed embarked on a career of public service, first as the Illinois Deputy Secretary of State, and then as Director of the Department of Financial Institutions. It was here that Ed launched his formal commitment to the cooperative movement by ensuring the vitality of the dual chartering system. He did this by convincing the state legislature to give him the authority to approve other insurance options for state-chartered credit unions. As a result, private co-op share insurance became an option in Illinois. In 1981, President Reagan appointed Ed as chairman of the National Credit Union Administration, making him the highest-ranking credit union regulator in the country. During his 4-year tenure in this post, he made a number of heroic decisions that may well have saved the credit union movement in the United States. First, he allowed multiple groups to join together in a single credit union. True to his ability to see cooperative opportunities, he interpreted the 1934 Federal Credit Union Act to permit a single credit union to serve multiple groups, provided each group had its own common bond. The multi-group charter decision required extraordinary leadership and commitment, as well as untold overtime work. Ed had to sell the new idea to the nation and stand up to the critics who fought him. And in the end, he was successful. Without this bold decision, credit unions would certainly not be where they are today. Ed also organized a cooperative effort to capitalize the National Credit Union Share Insurance Fund. He challenged the credit unions to create a novel approach based on cooperative principles. He suggested that they capitalize their own share insurance fund by depositing and maintaining 1% of their insured shares. In 1984, Ed saw this legislation signed into law. This made the credit union system the strongest of the nation's savings sectors at the time, without costing the taxpayers a cent. In fact, Ed's cooperative solution gave heart to the credit union movement, attracted millions of new members, and steadied the whole country in a time of national crisis. It was also under his leadership that the concept of students running their own credit unions was studied and ultimately advanced. He created the National College Credit Union Council, chartered a student credit union at Georgetown University, and designated student credit unions as low income, allowing them to borrow at below market rates and take non-member deposits. After 4 years, Ed left NCUA and founded Callahan & Associates, a national consulting firm that still bears his name and is an industry leader in providing credit union statistical data. While at the helm, he envisioned, and together with 40 credit unions and Goldman Sachs, created the Trust for Credit Unions. This was the first family of mutual funds cooperative, owned, operated, and controlled exclusively by credit unions for credit unions. He is still an active trustee of the Credit Union Trust. In 1987, Ed became CEO of Patelco Credit Union in California. Here he continued with his visionary and innovative leadership, doubling the size of Patelco's membership at a time when its main sponsor was downsizing. He also reached out beyond his own credit union. He organized the shared branch network and the credit union service centers so that credit unions might do more together. He understood that cooperation was the only way to really compete with megabanks, and he began literally sharing Patelco's credit union branches with other credit unions and vice versa. Today, there are over 400 shared service facilities in the United States. In addition, he launched the Adopt a Credit Union program in 1993, by which Patelco senior staff share their management skills with smaller credit unions in low-income areas. Ed also serves on the board of the Financial Service Center Cooperative, as a member of the West Core Advisory Council, and serves on the California Commissioners Advisory Council for Credit Unions. Ed truly believes that people working together can achieve more for everyone than if they worked separately. He has spent his life dedicated to that belief, and has made an incredible impact on millions of lives because of it. For this, we welcome Edgar Callahan into the Cooperative Hall of Fame.